Hey everybody, how you doing today? Carpo here. I'm out in my garage. It's a little chilly. Try to stay warm while I do this video, but it shouldn't take long. I guess I could heat myself up by considering what the title of the video, or rather the subject matter of the video, which is, I guess I'm just going to run Fox News into the ground. It's something I've never done because it seems so pathetic and petty, and I want to get that across first, that the reason I don't talk about media and news and, the lies that they entail and the nonsense bullshit journalism that's not even journalism is because it seems so obvious to me that it's bullshit that it just shocks me that people still even watch the news. And I understand the need to see what's going on in the local community, of course, and watching the news for some people helps them see what's going on, or so they think. And that's the problem, is that we will hear a story. For example, there's a story about a kid who was kidnapped here in Portland. His name was Kyron, and this was like 15 years ago or something, and they brought it up a while back. Somebody was talking about it on the news. These are things that are tragic, but things that happen everywhere, every day. But we dwell on one particular subject. And this is what, the reason I guess I should talk about media in general, but I'm talking about Fox News because they're just so pathetic. Now, I haven't watched Fox News in probably 15 years, maybe longer. Back, I'd say 20 years ago, I really didn't watch the news anyway, but I didn't really think much about media bias or corporate, the fact that Fox News was so biased. I guess there was a time when I was younger where I thought that there's a possibility that maybe there's still fair journalism and real media, but I was never interested in media myself. But it's because of all the stories, like I said, that they would promote, the nonsense waste of time stories that really don't talk about the big issues, the important issues. And the media tells us what we should be concerned with and what's important. I love Jon Stewart. I think that he's one of my favorite, television personalities. Colbert was one of my favorites as well. Now I watch, when I get a chance, John Oliver, and he does a really good job because he covers one topic at a time. One would be like, national spying on the people, then another one about like drones, and all of these, even though a lot of people tend to say that guys like that are just, on the opposite end of the spectrum, just pulling out the gems and trying to get viewers. Yes, they are. It's a show. It's a personality. It's not a serious news show. But it covers ideas people need to hear. And in order to take things seriously, it seems like people have to hear it in a joking form. This is why shows like Family Guy and South Park are so, have such an impact, because they say things that people won't say, but a cartoon seems to be okay. And this is how I feel about the media, that the media is taking that same approach, to think that they can just say whatever they want, make up whatever they want, follow each other's stories. A couple elections ago, I remember Fox News declared that Bush was the winner, even though he wasn't at that time, and all the other news companies followed suit because they believed that Fox had it figured out first. They were all wrong, of course, in the end, but he ended up winning anyway. But the point being is that with all these people watching this crap, it just amazes me that people aren't willing to look a little bit past what they're saying and actually go back and source the damn information. Do a little bit of research. We expect the news to be given to us, and it's not that easy. You could take it to the extreme, and I could talk about a lot of these truther channels which, claim that they're exposing the real truth or the real side of things, and this is what's really going on, and everything they tell you is a lie, and people assume that everything the media says is a lie, therefore they must have the right answer, and they're just as bad. It's just a lot of speculation. And people arguing over the dumbest things. One side, for example, this whole Ferguson case with the racism thing, there's half the people saying everybody's blowing it out of proportion, that it's not as it appears, that the media has sensationalized it, and this is why all this rioting started. And on the other hand, they've got the other people who are saying that the media is actually hiding the truth or what's really going on. In the end, it's up to the individuals to really gain a sense of what's going on by not just looking at what the news says or what they read in the newspapers or look at it on the channels or YouTube or anything like that, but really look at the big picture. We can't analyze everything that happens in the Middle East, but say something happens locally that's an issue, maybe it's racial, maybe it's religious, whatever. Don't look at the details that are being fed to you to distract you from the truth of the story, the bigger picture of the story. If it's something that happens a lot, sometimes you just cannot deny what appears, if it walks like a duck, but at other times they use that to their advantage. The media will use that to say if the situation looks like it must be true, then all we have to do is say that it is true and people will buy into it. Well, Fox News doesn't have any journalists. They have people who sit around and try to look pretty and basically talk about the same old shit over and over and over. Anything that will get people upset or emotional, because they play on people's emotions. And it's not just Fox News, it's all the media outlets, A majority of them are all owned by, a very few people. But even areas like OPB or NPR, I used to think that NPR was a non-partial kind of, open-minded news channel, and that was 15 years ago or so. That's about how long it's been since I listened to NPR, probably 10 years, just because they are basically the exact opposite. All they want to do is talk shit about Republicans, which, somebody's got to do it, I guess, because, I think that the Republican Party is outdated and regardless of what the intentions of a few of them might be, the majority of them are just following suit. But the Democrats are the same way, so don't get me wrong. I don't pick sides. I'm not a Democrat either. Democrats are a bunch of whiny little, complainers too, that just want to, many of them want to make a change and really change the world, but a lot of them just want to follow suit too. And meanwhile, the media just plays on our emotions back and forth, and people are so wrapped up in these little issues that they don't even know about. Shit like Benghazi, or, the issues with the snipers, and whether or not a sniper should be considered a hero or, or not, in the sense that we kind of glamorize our soldiers that are out there killing people, and then, all these different little stories play on people's emotions. Because I use the sniper example because the argument might go, hey, we got to stand behind our soldiers. The other argument might say, well, we have to use rational thinking and say, is it okay to kill, or should we glamorize killing? But our society does glamorize killing, as long as it's us doing the killing. And being a human, an American human, a human who lives in America, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I love my country, but I don't love the borders. I don't love what it stands for. I love what it means to me. And I think most Americans would agree, and many of us feel the same way, that it's not about, we don't feel like America's a better country. But we also don't want to sit here and run our own country into the ground and talk shit about it constantly, because we have to live here. It goes back to my old analogy about if the house is burning, or if the house burns down, it burns down. But if you need to do a few repairs on it, you don't just bulldoze and start over again. And that's kind of what we like to do. We like to just tear everything down and start fresh, but we have to kind of rebuild this society piece by piece and pull our heads out of our asses and teach our kids not to just listen to what they're told. But unfortunately, it's easy to feed us a bunch of crap, and I know that we think that today it's worse than ever, that people are, more in the dark because, more media is owned. The truth is we're more enlightened than we've ever been about the world's issues. It's just that we don't know where to start, where to focus our energy, and we forget that the people in the past, there may have been wise cultures, but most people were pretty ignorant to the big picture of the world, just like we are today. even more so. You know, it's a crazy world we live in, and we just have to like sort through the nonsense. We need to expect more from our media, and we need to step up, because if you want to think of politicians as being people separate from us that we're against, then that's your choice. I see politicians as people who work for us, and I demand more of them. Likewise, local businesses, we expect them to perform properly, or else we will kick them out of town, basically, and the same thing should happen with the media. You know, but unfortunately, playing on the emotions means that they know what to say, when to say it, and people don't even realize they're being fooled. And the alternate side of it's the same way, the alternative world. There are people out there who just want to get views on their channels, and so they make these preposterous stories up about what's really going on and how everything's a hoax, and then people get confused and don't know what to believe. So I just use rational thinking and realize that there's a lot of fooling that can be done, but there's a lot of fooling we can do for ourselves too, and make ourselves think things aren't what they aren't. So anyway, I covered that as best I could. Media sucks. Fox News sucks the most. It's preposterous stuff. So, take care, everybody.